Hello, McCarthy's. Hello, Edith.
Hello, Katie. How you going?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
That's good.
Okay.
How are you, Edith? Good. Good. You're looking very festive, McCarthy's, with your Christmas tree behind you.
Oh,
Yeah.
we haven't
Well,
decorated
nearly,
it yet.
nearly there.
You're halfway there, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
The intention is there, so that's the main thing. So there was quite a number of you guys that couldn't come tonight, and I completely respect that because, of course, it's such a busy time of year anyway. So the session probably won't go for a full hour tonight, but we'll still work through the different sort of content things that we need to sort of tick off the session for. Tonight we sort of go more into the sort of functionality of eating in terms of things that can impact the food choices we make, such as stress and sleep issues and mindful eating, how to manage lapses, that type of thing. So it's a bit more around comfort eating. Exactly, Edith. That's exactly very common. So that's what we will be touching on tonight. So, of course, any questions or any comments that you want to make, just jump in. But I wanted to start off by asking, how did you find the exercise session last week? Because obviously I couldn't stay for the entirety of it.
Was it very good?
Yeah.
Great?
It was very good.
You felt like you learned something?
Yeah.
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 Different strength exercising and moderate and intense training and just different ways we can look at exercises. Going for a walk or something like that. Yeah, no, it was very good.
Oh, good. Excellent. And do you agree, Edith? Did you find it helpful?
I already started doing physio.
Did you?
And for probably about a year.
Fantastic.
So working for it, very challenging because of and I've learned over the period of time not to beat myself up if I don't make it.
Yes.
I just spoke to my physio about it. She said, look, you don't have to go around the block completely. You can just run up on the street. Do what
Absolutely.
you can. Even if you just do 5 minutes, it's better than nothing.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the biggest things about exercise is that people put it into this category of you've got to go to the gym and you've got to really, slog it out for an hour. And then that feels like too much of an effort for people. So instead, they just go with nothing because the idea of having to go to the gym or the idea of trying to do an hour-long run or something like that is too much to bear. So
it can be overwhelming.
Really overwhelming. Exactly. So I think just like you said, even if you just can manage 5 minutes and it might be a few squats whilst you're brushing your teeth, it doesn't have to be a whole lot, but anything is going to always be better than nothing.
Exactly. But I did learn a few about the sitting. That was a little bit surprising how we can sit. And especially for office workers, it must be very challenging for them.
Absolutely. It's not uncommon for somebody who's working in an office to sit for 14, 16 hours per day. That's...
No, it's normal.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's right. Exactly. Now, Anne, you guys can unmute yourself because you don't have any background noise, do you? You don't have anyone racing around your house? Yeah, so that's totally fine. No. And then you can just participate freely rather than feeling like you've got to unmute yourself. Well, that's excellent. That's really good. I'm glad that there was a few takeaway messages from that session. So tell me then, I would like you to give me an example of something positive that you've started doing since this program began. It might be that you're trying to have a second piece of fruit. It doesn't have to be anything world shattering. But if there's something that you feel has been a positive takeaway from the last few sessions, I suppose I would love to know. Does anything spring to mind?
I have nut trail mix with my lunch.
Excellent.
Because I am an office person. If you're peckish, that's a better thing to nibble on.
Yes, definitely.
And a bottle of water there.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great, Anne. Yeah, excellent. What about you, Shane? What's changed for you?
Well, I went to the bike, the cars.
He went to Bathurst the
Bathurst
last couple of weeks.
with my son,
Great.
and he come out every morning with apples, oranges, and what's the other one? The green one, the
Pears.
Pears, yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a very, very healthy Bathurst snack. I'm sure most were coming out with buckets of chips and dim sims and things.
Josh is a bit of a fitness fanatic.
Is he? Oh, good on him.
Personal trainer, so he likes
wowzers. Oh, well, he's a good link to have in the family then.
Yeah, we'll keep him.
Yeah. You're so kind, Anne. That's good. No, excellent. That's fantastic, Shane. I'm loving the addition of extra fruit. That's great. And being able to do it even when you're out of your normal routine is really great as well, because a lot of the time whenever we go on holiday, we just sort of throw our hands up in the air and say, well, which is fine, of course, but it's also nice to be able to practice the good habits to really make sure that they're ingrained, I suppose. So that's great. Good on you guys. Excellent, McCarthy's. What about you, Miss Edith?
Me. Well, because I found that I had high blood pressure and high cholesterol.
Yeah.
I've been an acupuncturist to help me.
Good.
And there's a lot of stuff you confirm, but also reinforced it for me as well.
Yeah, great.
So for me, the milk, it was the big one. Having milk in my cup of tea, I had to stop that. So I'm substituting it with almond milk for cereals.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So full cream milk, and I didn't make it, so I have.
Oh, good girl. That's great. Good on you.
That's okay. And the sugar I've noticed I've cut back a lot too.
Yes, fantastic. Yeah. That's really good. That's brilliant.
And also helps with you guys confirming and explaining what it actually does.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's such an important part of this process is actually just getting the education and being able to understand how to read a label or how to sort of pick what's a really good product, what's not such a good product, and just learning about really simple, small changes that we can make, because that's the same as the exercise session. We're honestly not wanting you guys to have to do a total upheaval of your lifestyle, because it's just not sustainable. It's not something that you guys can do forever. The small little tiny changes is where we see the most benefit and the most likelihood that it will remain sustainable. So that's great. I'm thrilled to hear that you guys have made those small little steps. That's excellent. So tonight, there's no slides. It's just me talking tonight. So you don't have to worry about trying to keep up with slides and things. Starting off firstly is the idea of lapses. So when we refer to a lapse, we refer to it being something like where, let's say, you've done a fantastic job and you've eaten really healthy from Monday to Friday, and then the weekend comes and you think, blow it, I'm just going to now eat everything I can see all of Saturday, all of Sunday, because I've had my good days and now I'm going to have my bad days. And then what can sometimes happen is then people will come to Monday and they think, I ate so poorly all weekend, I'm just going to blow it, I'm just not going to worry about trying to eat healthy again this week. Shane. So that's right. So it can start to sort of be a bit of a free fall, because we have this little slip up and we feel so bad about it, but then it generates this chain reaction of going into a sort of spiral of poor eating and no exercise. Exactly.
You start feeling depressed and horrible about yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And it's so common. But what I want you guys to be able to take away from this is that even if you have a lapse, even if it is a huge lapse, it doesn't matter. All you need to do is get back up on the horse at the next meal and do your very best again. Because little lapses are going to happen. That is life. I mean, we all have celebrations, we have parties, we've got Christmas, you know, all of these events are going to come up, and you need to be able to live a life. You don't want to be the person that's sitting there saying, no, I don't want to eat that delicious thing, and no, I won't have a glass of champagne, and no, I won't. You know, that gets very dull very quickly. And when you're forever saying no to everything, it makes you want it more. So you're not actually helping yourself either, because you might be being really strict and really good for a period of time, but we all know that period of time comes to an end, because then you get sick of it and then you just want to eat everything and drink everything.
You start binge.
You start to binge. Exactly. It's so common, and I see it time and time and time again. So it's a really important thing to get your head around what can be your catalyst, I suppose, to lapsing. So is it that when you get with this particular friend, they want to have a cup coffee or a tea, but they always want to have that big slab of cake, and you always think, I don't want to have that, but I feel like I have to because it makes her feel better, you know, that type of thing? Or is it that you go out with friends and they always want to have 500 beers, and you're thinking, I don't want to do that? You know, so thinking about where these lapses can sometimes pop up for you. And again, it's not about avoiding them. We're not wanting you to stay away from those friends, but wanting you to go into the situation with your eyes wide open and to feel like, what's going to be best for me tonight? I want to eat the cake and I want to have the champagne. I'm going to really, really enjoy it, but I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'm not going to then tomorrow not have brekkie or eat all week long, you know, trying to actually really structure yourself so you know when the lapses are coming up and you can sort of manage for them a little bit, I suppose. So Shane and Anne, can you think of examples of where these lapses might crop up for you at all?
Probably family events.
Yes.
So, see, I'm not really big on cake or anything like that. We don't really
indulge in that way. Yeah.
But you might, if you're having a coffee, girlfriend comes over, you might have a bicky with it or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, or some chocolate or something like that if you've got people around.
Yeah. And when you do that, do you tend to feel any sort of sense of guilt or no?
Yeah, probably, yeah. Probably do. But we both want to get back on the horse.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll continue with that.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm telling you right now, Christmas won't be good. Right?
No, of course not, though. Like that.
Come January, you know, will be fabulous.
Absolutely. And I will touch on Christmas in this session as well, but just quickly add to that sort of sentence that no one, please do not feel like you have to be good or bad for Christmas. You know, it's not a concept of good or bad. It's just doing your best and choosing the best options that you can most of the time, whether that be filling your plate more so with veggies and salad.
Just be more aware. Just be more aware.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And ensuring that you're fitting those walks in. You know, like making sure that you're really prioritizing that a bit of extra exercise during this period, knowing that, expect that you're going to be eating more, but trying to combat that slightly by actually then walking more and exercising a little bit more, you know. But Edith, what about you in terms of lapses? Is there anything you...
Well, for me, most of the time that I've noticed is when I feel down. That's where I get the lapses.
Yes.
When I'm down, it doesn't matter where I go, where I am.
Yeah.
And actually, for me, it's the other way around. When I go out, I'm more likely, more in charge, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So it's more about when you're home alone and you're feeling this big emotional feelings, that's when you find that you lapse and that you sort of start looking for food. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. It's such a common problem. I mean, it's such a common thing, you know, that emotional eating. The one thing that I will say, though, time and time again, is that food will never fix an emotional problem.
No, certainly right. Yeah.
And as much as it can feel like it's going to help, and it feels like in this moment what I need is comfort, and food looks and feels and you think that it's really going to fix you, but you know that it's not. You know that it's not going to actually be what makes you feel. It's about finding other strategies that can actually sort of fix the sort of problem, as opposed to, you know, the are you there, Edith? You're sort of pausing on me.
Yeah. I'm here.
Yeah. Here again. And you're moving. Good. Excellent. But have I told you about the HALT acronym?
Yes, you did.
No.
Couple of minutes ago. Yeah, HALT. What was it again?
Yeah. Okay. So when you, and this is a particularly good one for when you are somebody who tends to sort of err on the side of the emotional eating, whether you want to write it and put it up on your fridge, it can be a good sort of reminder. But the HALT acronym, HALT, is when you feel that sort of idea of, oh, I just want to go and eat this, you know, that's in, I know there's chocolate sitting in the fridge. I've had a really crappy day. I'm feeling really tired and emotional. I just want to go and eat it. It's giving yourself that moment to actually step back and to pause and to go through the HALT and to ask yourself, why am I eating? Am I eating because of H, hunger? Am I eating because of A, anxiety? Like I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling wound up. I'm feeling stressed.
Angry?
Absolutely. Yeah. Angry. Any emotion that you can come up with that fits A, go for it. L is for lonely. So feeling more sort of subdued, feeling flat, feeling like you're just really needing something, some sort of comfort. Or T, tired. So
that's a big one.
Yeah, tiredness is a big one, when really your body just needs sleep. It doesn't need more food to try and digest. It just needs more rest. So the HALT acronym can be a good one to run through your mind, to really do that check, to really stop and check in with your body and ask yourself, why am I actually looking for food? What's motivating me to seek out food? And if it's anything but a genuine hunger, I urge you to start finding some other strategies, whether it be I'm going to go out and get some fresh air, I'm going to run myself a bath, I'm going to call somebody, I'm going to...
So basically distract yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
But the thing is, though, because there's stress is, I mean, that we can sort of encapsulate all of those feelings into the heat of stress, that type of idea.
True,
yeah. So finding other strategies to try and help fix the problem as opposed to band-aiding it, which is all food does. Because food feels like it's going to make us feel better, and it feels like it's going to be that answer, but it generally isn't, because it generally then just spins us into this vicious cycle of then, so we feel sad and then we eat, and then we feel frustrated because we've eaten, and then we eat again, and then we feel really guilty and sick and frustrated, you know. So there's this sort of chain reaction of big emotions when the original problem hasn't been fixed yet. You know, we've sort of added to the problems rather than really focused in on, why am I feeling sad? What is going on here? You know,
that's what I normally do. When I feel emotions, I usually sit and feel it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes, and sometimes I go talk to somebody. Talk to someone. What is it? And you start, I can't feel better now. I don't need that feel comforting.
That's right. Exactly. It's been really interesting for me this year, because I think just due to COVID and lots of different things, but I was just feeling so overwhelmed and just really frustrated and angry, and, you know, all these sort of big emotions that I generally don't sort of tend to feel. So I spoke to my GP about it. And so then she ended up referring me to this psychologist, and I had never been to a psychologist before. I sort of always felt like I don't struggle mentally, you know, that's not something that I sort of need to focus on. But anyway, so I've already had sort of 4 or maybe 5 sessions now with her, but it has been like amazing. like absolutely amazing. And it's not something that she sort of, I think I had my own ideas that you had to be really mentally unstable to need to go and see a psych, but it's really just about having somebody else to put your issues through, you know,
and someone to talk to about emotions and feelings.
Definitely. And someone who's removed out of the situation.
Yes.
Because sometimes you don't want to speak to
your don't understand.
Or your family.
It's really got nothing to do with them. It's how you feel.
Exactly. You just want someone to listen without trying to fix
it.
Yeah. So I think everyone should get therapy now. I've just decided that the whole world could just benefit from being able to speak openly to somebody. But that's a big part of fixing what's actually triggering the big emotions for you, because you're never going to get very far when you're looking for food to fix it, because it is just not going to end well. This is the thing. So I think there's a lot to unpack there, and and we could talk about emotional eating till the cows came home, but it's so common, and it goes right back to our childhoods, because this is what happens. Our parents, I do it. Oh, you're feeling a bit upset? Here, have something.
Yes, have a cookie and milk.
Yeah, exactly. Let me fix you and help.
Yes, it's got very wrong. Yes, and then the tend to pat me up for that adulthood.
Yeah, correct.
I haven't known it.
You don't even realize it. Exactly. So a lot of it is things we can't even control. It's just an innate desire that we have, but incredibly common, not for you to feel guilty about. It's more just about me talking to you about how to step out of the situation. Do your halt, do your sort of checking in, and decide, is my stomach rumbling? 9 times out of 10 it's not going to be. It'll be because of something else that's going on for you. So is that something, obviously Edith can relate to that, Shane and Anne, is that something that you feel?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
And with the psychologist, our work offers
EAP?
I work in a nursing home, so EAP. So if I'm ever overwhelmed, that's somewhere we can go, whether it be something at work or in our personal life. So I recommend it highly.
Yes, absolutely. And your family members can use that for free as well, is that right? Yeah,
no, it's very good.
Such a wonderful thing, and so important. I've just found it such a positive to my life this year in particular. Tell me, does anyone here meditate at all? Edith, I knew you would. She's just doing everything, isn't she? She just does it all. So tell me, how do you meditate? When do you do it?
Me? Okay. Well, normally I do it in the morning.
Yeah.
Or when I'm dressed out, don't meditate for 5 minutes. I hit the headphones on, I choose some meditation. Sometimes I listen to just music to calm down. Sometimes I just go outside with the flowers and stuff and just sit there and breathe. The latest one I'm learning about, because I've been traumatized most of my life, and someone suggested to do breath work.
Breath work, yeah, great.
And I started doing the deep breathing, and it's amazing.
Yes.
And apparently it helps with the nervous system and the blood circulation and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I'll take it. Sounds great. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of really interesting research coming out about the breath work. Yeah. It's really, really positive. And another really good strategy in terms of really trying to slow the central nervous system down and really try to manage and
get your head, calm your mind, the monkey mind.
Yeah, exactly.
The monkey mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bananas.
Exactly. Lots of bananas. It's good. Yeah. But in terms of, is it something, Shane and Anne, that you have looked into
I've
meditation?
never done meditation.
No,
At
me
all.
neither. No.
Oh, hang on. Take it back. When I was young, I did yoga.
Yes.
And they had meditation. But that's a long time since I was young. It was before I was married to you.
Yeah.
So, yes, when I did yoga, we did meditation.
Yeah. Fantastic. Once again, as I mentioned about the breath work, but there is even so much more wonderful research now about meditation. And I tried to get on to join us tonight, this meditation expert from Shepparton. She's wonderful. But you don't have to be good at meditation to try it. And that's the one thing that she always really says, is that I sort of started doing a little bit of meditation and I was so bad at it because I would just sit there and write shopping lists. And then I'd go, no, come back here. I spent the whole time trying to sort of bring my mind back. And I'm still not very good at it as such, but simply finding a few minutes in your day has shown to have the most wonderful impact upon your own mind and the way in which your brain processes things. And just giving you the opportunity to pause, to focus can be so recharging for people. So there's
even just 30 minutes is just good.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting on the toilet, you can meditate there too.
Yeah, exactly. Because what we were talking about with the HALT acronym all ties into the sort of mindful eating side of stuff. And that's really where we need a lot of focus, because there's so many of us, it's not about what we're eating, it's how we tend to eat, whether that be that we're people that really rush our food, or we're people that just sort of eat a bucket load of food and then don't even realize because we weren't even focused, we were too busy watching the TV or working, or, but really bringing the attention and the focus back to the food and back to the meal and back to the moment is so beneficial for lots and lots of different reasons. Edith, do you use any particular apps that you quite like?
Apps? No.
So how do you so you just sit and listen to music, or that, like?
Yes, I'll download some whatever meditation is available.
Yeah,
I actually did one with a meditation and weight loss.
Oh, right.
Weight loss, and it's about releasing the guilt and shame that goes with it.
Yeah. And did you find that helpful?
Yes, it has been very helpful. So I'm just doing a little bit of everything. Actually, now that you mentioned about eating a lot, I've noticed the other day I was having a bowl of cereal and that brain, that one. Anyway, I started eating. I thought, oh, I feel food. I kept going. No, stop.
It stopped. Yeah.
I stopped. So, yes, it was quite strong. Do not eat. I don't want anymore.
Yeah. And it sounds so simplistic. This I felt full and I thought, I might stop eating now. But that is a message that our body sends out.
The problem with that is because as a kid, you got to eat all your food.
Exactly.
That's right. What we're going to try and break away from.
That's right.
Absolutely. I can't leave that. I'll be guilty.
Yeah.
I can't eat it. Exactly. No. So I go to my son, good man, fuck away.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Eat it later. Exactly. Yeah. Or the next time you serve yourself up that cereal, you put a bit less in.
Yeah, that's right.
Then you don't feel like you're going to be wasting so much and feel that guilt about, food wastage and things. But that is such an important thing to learn, the idea about checking in. So you're giving yourself the time to eat slowly enough so that whilst you're eating, you can be saying, actually, now that I've now had this last mouthful, I am feeling full. I don't need to finish all this. I'm feeling satisfied. And our body gives us these cues and gives us these, full signs, and we ignore them because of other reasons, because the TV show isn't finished, because there's more on our plate, because we don't want to waste food, because we don't want to, all of these, again, which goes back to our childhood most of the time, these sort of messaging around food and plates and things. But the amazing thing about the brain is that 100%, no matter the pathways in which your brain messages always are going down, you can alter it. You can, by practice and by changing the way that you're thinking, by practicing habits and practicing new ways to think, you can eventually start to maneuver down different roads in your brain. So just like Edith sort of said, practicing the idea of saying, actually, I am full. And sometimes you don't actually need to feel full. You just say, I'm just going to practice not finishing everything that's on my plate. I'm just going to practice that. I'm going to see how that feels.
Dan and I use smaller plates.
Do you? Fantastic. And do you find that helps?
Yeah. So the plate looks like it's full, but it's a much smaller plate than we had before.
Yes.
So we started doing that a while back, didn't we?
Yeah.
Fantastic. And you still feel satisfied? You still feel like you finished the meal and you feel okay?
If you eat slowly, you have enough time to digest. So therefore you're full.
Yes.
If you eat fast, you keep going and then you're sick 20 minutes later.
That's right. It catches up with you and you think, I'm so chock-a-block, I feel yuck now. Yes, absolutely. So that's fantastic. Using smaller plates, eating slower, checking in, just like Edith was saying, checking in with how you're feeling. Am I full? Am I still really hungry? Because the quantities in which we are eating is almost more important than the quality of the food we're eating. Because if you can eat too many apples and put on weight, you could still be eating the most healthiest food you can possibly eat. But if you're eating too much of it, you will still gain weight.
Yeah.
So your portion sizes and the amounts of food that you're eating is so important in getting right. But again, it takes practice. We're humans that have come to this point and we've got a whole lifetime of habit building behind us. So to get to this point, and then for me to say, you just need to eat less. You just need to,
it's hard.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. It's hard. It's really hard. So I'm not expecting it to happen overnight, but just for you guys to be more aware around what your habits are. Why am I feeling this? Why am I eating? What am I? Really strip it back and start to challenge yourself and to practice new ways of doing things, okay? Again, I totally appreciate that Christmas is a really hard time to be doing all this because, of course, you're going to have food put in front of you day in, day out for the next few weeks. But why not jump in the deep end, Have a little bit of all the foods that you like, sure. But you don't need to go back for seconds and thirds and be having bucket loads of food.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Eat slowly. Taste it. When you're eating so fast, you don't taste anything.
A friend of mine, he's so amazed how slow I eat, but how I enjoy my food.
Yes, absolutely.
That's right.
Every single mouthful. Yeah, that's right. Every single time you put some food on your fork, make it the best mouthful you've had.
Yeah.
Really decide what's going to go on this fork. I want it to be good. I want good bang for buck. Yeah, so so the mindful eating and the meditation and all that stuff comes around to really focusing on the way we are eating, not so specifically about what we are eating. And just like I said, it is just as important, if not, in regards to eating healthy. Eating healthy is about eating all our fruits and vegetables, but it's also about the way in which you're eating and making sure that that's really
how you're feeling about when you're eating.
Exactly. Absolutely. Is there any questions about that stuff?
No, very good.
Yep. Just while I'm thinking of it, Shane and Anne, there's a couple of apps that there is the Calm app, so just Calm. You do, I think by memory, you do have to pay a bit of money to download that one, $5 or $9 or something like that. But there's another one that I use for my daughter for before she goes to sleep. And that one, but it's got meditations for kids, but also for adults. And it's got 5 minutes, 40 minutes, but it's called Insightful Timer. Insightful Timer. So those are just two good apps that you might like to download onto your phone. That's a good way to do it.
Is that in the book?
No, those are just ones that I've just added. Yeah, sorry, Edith.
Okay. No, that's fine. Will you be able to send it to us?
Yes, I'll write them down and I'll put the email for you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That'll be great. I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, it's a really good
How
one.
does that work?
Well, you just click on that. You can put your filters on in terms of, you can say, actually, I wonder if I've got it on my phone. But basically, you just have to, Insight Timer, not insightful, Insight Timer. That was silly of me.
And you use that for a small child, do you?
Well, I do for Audrey, just because it's got, you can't see anything.
That's too bright, yeah.
Too bright. Because she likes to have stories before she goes to bed. It just sort of helps her wind down. But it's also got really good ones for adults too. It's just that Insight Timer has lots of good ones for kids, but it also has lots of good ones for adults. I specifically use that for her. But yeah, and I mean, like, that one is just Indian flute and water for 8 minutes. You know, like, it doesn't have to be, some people like the talking, some people just like the you know, slowing down, that type of thing. So we're really starting to get behind the mindfulness and the meditation stuff now. It's just so important, and it's just really, really good for us. So we just,
because our mind is so busy.
So busy.
And so much noise in the world.
Absolutely. And our to-do list is just forever getting longer and longer.
Yeah. TV, social media. Yeah.
Yep. I was reading something the other day that was saying that we used to have our quiet time and we would sort of sit and read a book, or, you know, we would sit and stare at a wall or something. But now everyone's downtime is on their phone. And every single time that you get that sort of, they say we get like a dopamine surge. So when you see a new message or you see a notification, or, you know, there's this constant sort of surging of hormone that happens that we don't even realize. But what's happening is that we're never actually allowing our bodies and our brains to really just rest. We're forever sort of looking for a message or looking for the phone to ring or looking for, you know, without even meaning to. So I think that's also why the health professionals are getting around meditation and mindfulness quite so much now, because we're really needing to fit it into our day. We just don't rest like we used to, and let our brains rest like we once did. Tell me about the way that you sleep, Anne and Shane. Are you good sleepers? Are you?
No, I'm not.
You're not?
No, because I relive the day, things with our children. I compose a shopping list, like you said.
So unproductive.
My brain takes a long time to slow down.
Yes. Yep.
So the counting sheep bit, I count nephews and nieces.
Oh, goodness.
Well, there's 110 of them. And by the time I get to the last one, I'm asleep.
110 nieces and nephews?
Yeah. Well, there's 37 grandchildren and 75 great-grandchildren. So with that helps me sleep.
Oh, my good. No wonder you're writing lists over. You're just trying to remember all those names.
But it's a good way to fall asleep.
Oh, my goodness.
How do you do it?
Yeah. So how many children?
I didn't have them. We've only got 2 grandchildren. We've only got 2 grandchildren.
Oh, so who's all the other grandchildren then? You don't have...
I've got 8 brothers and sisters.
Ah, right. So that's all their kids as well. Sorry, I thought you meant you guys had 30.
No. We have 2 grandchildren.
Oh, my goodness. I thought you're never going to sleep again. But do you know what? There is so common so common, that idea of waking up in the middle of the night, and that's when your brain starts to, you know, go through the day. And we're so irrational in the middle of the night as well. Like, it's not productive thinking. We're sort of, our brains tend to get a little bit carried away as such when it's the middle of the night. But I would implore you, Anne, to really try to add in some meditation to your day, because there is a strong link between not letting your mind rest during the day and not letting your mind have an opportunity to actually debrief the day and download the day in daylight hours. So then when we don't do that, your brain does it at night time.
Yeah, good thinking, yeah.
Processing.
That's
processing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
And some people find it helpful, along with the meditation during the day, if you're somebody that likes to write. I mean, it's not for everyone, but having a journal beside your bed that you write in before you go to sleep. And it's not about writing, you know, stories or that type of thing. It's literally just writing down the things that you feel that you need to. It might be the list that you've been, you know, mentally thinking about all day, like, I must get that gift for that person, and you know, and things become even more heightened at this time of year, because we're trying to do menus, and we're trying to think about where we're having Christmas and New Year's Eve and all these presents and all that kind of stuff, so it becomes even more heightened. But having that sort of spot next to your bed that you can just go, I just need to get this stuff down, so your brain's not clinging onto it, you know, because then when it's clinging overnight, you wake up and you think, what was that damn thing I was meant to do, and why am I going to do that? And you know, that's when you start to try to break it down. So are you a night owl, or are you how would you describe yourself?
You mean
a night owl? Yeah. So are you somebody that likes to start late, or do you crash early, or
9:30?
Yeah. And then
9:30. I get up about just after 6 in the morning. I can't rush. So I get up at 6:15. I leave for work at about 8:10.
Yes. Okay, good. But have you so what happens overnight? If you go to bed at 9:30, what happens?
I'll go to sleep probably about 11:30. I'll wake at 3.
Yeah.
5.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see the point in going back to sleep because I'm getting up at 6. So yeah, just the way I am.
Yeah. And we'll wait on it. Yep.
You sleep well, don't you?
I do. Yes, I do.
Because Shane can just turn off to whatever's happening, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He can just, that's done now. I'll worry about
I think that is a husband thing, though. My husband is exactly the same. He will go 3, 2, 1, asleep. Like, and yeah. Like, it's just they've got nothing to think about. Like, I'm there thinking about everything.
I don't know about that, because I go to sleep just like that too.
Oh, you are.
I sleep, but unfortunately, lately for the last few years, I've been making go to sleep, no problem, out, finish, and then about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I wake up. What am I doing waking up this time of the now? Go back to bed.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. There is that. Yes, there is a common theme there, definitely. Another thing that can be helpful is stepping up your exercise regime a little bit too, because sometimes when you're just mentally exhausted, but you're actually not physically all that tired, because you've just like you've saying, and you know, you've been sitting a lot, or you haven't been
that's right.
a lot. Your body's just not requiring that much rest as such. Your brain is switched off for a bit, but when you step up the exercise a little bit, it can then also improve the quality of your sleep overnight, because of course you are just more tired too. So that might be another strategy. It's a two-pronged one, of course.
I think being a mother, I think maybe a father too, that when we got children, we think about them.
Yes.
We had that connection with them too.
I know. I thought it was going to be easier once my girls were older, but everyone just keeps telling me that you don't ever really.
No.
No.
Don't tell me that. I was thinking it was going to be much easier once I got out of high school and all sorted. But...
Ours are 32, 31 and 29.
Yeah.
Still up all night.
And you still think about them.
No, but you constantly think, that everything's okay with them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. True, and Emblin's up. Josh in Melbourne. But yeah, always will.
But I think even more so because of the COVID, I think we have a lot more in our mind now.
Yeah,
A lot more fear.
Right. Yes, exactly. A lot more things to worry about. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely. That's just like I explained before. That's definitely been my experience this year. But
okay.
What about you, Edith? So you're actually quite a good sleeper.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
You go to sleep.
If I'm tired, I'll just go to bed. Sometimes I have afternoon sleep. Sometimes because I'm just exhausted.
Yeah. You just need to do it.
Absolutely exhausted. So I'll go and lie down for an hour or so, and then I'm normally in bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, good. Yep.
But if I stay awake till 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm wrecked.
Oh my goodness, yes. I couldn't tell you that.
No more of that night. But when there's a good movie on, can't be helped.
Absolutely. Oh no, I cannot watch TV at night time. I just go straight to sleep. But yes, absolutely. Getting the sleep stuff right is really imperative, because just like I spoke about with the HALT, so much of the time people are looking for food because they're tired. So making that connection and also really trying to improve the sleep quality, or to look at ways in which you can try and manage it a little bit better, is so important too. It all comes together. It's not necessarily whether we do or don't eat the chocolate. It's about all of it. So sleep, stress, mindfulness, meditation. So I suppose what I just hope that you guys take away from this session is really starting to look broadly at what your habits and routines tend to be, and looking at more so why you're doing what you're doing. And is there another way to be doing things? Is there a more productive way to be looking at things? And to continue to really build the exercise into your routine, because, of course, we've seen now there's so many easy ways that everyone can be doing it. There's really no excuse not to be doing exercise on most days. And it's beneficial, of course, for all the reasons we know about reducing, heart disease, etc. But just like we talked about before, Anne, in terms of improving your sleep quality as well, so there's lots of different ways in which we can sort of benefit from that as well. I'm asking you a lot now, but trying to add in some more meditation, some more mindfulness, to really give your minds the opportunity to rest and repair in a positive, productive way. And looking at the way in which you eat, slowing down, checking in with your body, really trying to see, do I need to eat more? What do I need here? Is it just a bit of a Band-Aid solution, or do I actually need to try and find some other strategies that are going to be beneficial for me in managing my load and managing the stress that I'm feeling, or the anxiety, or the anger, or those big, big emotions. From this moment, from tonight, we now don't catch up for a few months. So you're going to ask me the date, and I'll say, I don't know. But let me have a look.
But you will email it to me.
I definitely will.
So you don't need to worry about that.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
You know that I will wake up at about 3 a.m. tomorrow morning, and be thinking about, I really need to send that email about that date.
Yeah, no, you don't. You can wait till the new year, and then you can do it then.
Well, it's not too far anyway. It's probably it'll be 6 months from when we started this group. So somewhere around that time. But
you'll get a reminder anyway. Get a reminder.
Oh, you will, of course. Yes.
Yeah, so
I'll be sending you a reminder. I'll send you a text. All those things.
Thank you. It's helpful.
Relax.
One more thing I'd like to suggest, for me anyway, having a room where you feel safe.
Where you feel safe?
I know, quiet, your room's quiet, music, statues, flowers, where you can just...
For the meditation, are you looking, Edith? Yeah.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, that can be really helpful, is it? Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. That really does help.
Yeah.
To calm down and re-energize and go back out.
Yes. Yeah, good tips. Thanks, Edith. That's really helpful. I need to do more of that myself. So anyway, I should be taking that on board. So I will do that. I will send you guys out later on the date. But what I'm going to need you to do for me is I'm going to email you a document, which is a questionnaire. Okay. So it's about checking in and you guys checking in and showing me how you've been feeling, you know?
Right. Yep.
So it's an easy one. I'm going to send you the email and you can just open the document on your computer, save it onto your desktop, and then you can edit it yourself. So you can type into it or you can click the options and then attach it to the email and send it back to me. So you don't need to print it off or try and send me a hard copy and things.
All right.
Just open it, save it on your desktop, email it back to me. Because Diabetes Victoria just like to check in and see how you're going after session 4, this one, after session 5, the next one, and then after session 6, the very last one. And it's just a good way for me also to see how you're tracking along, what's been helpful, what's not so helpful. Be really honest, because feedback is helpful. I won't take anything personally. It's good for me.
So you can improve.
Correct.
So you can improve. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yes, be as honest as you need to be. I won't take it personally. Don't worry. In the meantime, before we catch up for session 5, if you have any questions or you want to send me a text or you want to send me an email or you need to say, oh, what was that thing we spoke about again? Well, whatever it might be, I'm here to support you guys. So
yeah, that's what I was wondering. How do you support it? How do we use your services?
Well, in regards to the life program, the best way to do so is to send me an email, or if it's just a little question, you can send me a text and I can respond back with,
okay.
Yes or no, or but if it's more of something that you need more of a considered response to, then yes, perhaps send me an email and things. I'm very happy to help in any way between sessions. You don't have to wait for each session. And tomorrow I will send you the link to this recording as well. So if you watch it back, then you can do that as well. Even after saying this won't be a very long session at all, it'll be fine. We've gone an hour anyway, so it's basically 8 o'clock. But I hope that you got something out of it, and thank you for being as engaged as always and sharing your stories with me.
Thank you very much.
We'll look forward to seeing you at session 5. I can't wait to see all the habits you've been doing and all that fruit that you will have been eating, Shane. I can't wait.
Yeah, that's right.
Good on you guys. Have the most wonderful Christmas.
You too.
You too.
And I'll look forward to seeing you all in the new year for a really good 2022. It's got to be a good one, surely.
Sure.
Surely. I know. I feel a bit the same. Anyway. All right, guys. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Edith.
Yeah.